Welcome to the Coffee Cup Lecture for Earth Science. This lecture will tell you something about sedimentary rocks. Why a coffee cup lecture? Because I intend to finish this lecture in about the same time it takes to drink a cup of coffee. The process of formation of sedimentary rocks starts with weathering, the wearing down of existing rocks. That process can be seen by examining statues or rock carvings that were made many years ago, such as these statues which were cut into the rock. The statues are at the temple of Abu Simbel, which was constructed for the pharaoh Ramses II. Weathering, or the wearing down of rock, can be caused by a number of agents. Glaciers that pass over rock will remove pieces from the surface. This picture shows granite in Yosemite National Park that was polished and striated by a glacier and has since received additional chemical and physical weathering. The material that is removed is deposited elsewhere. A major weathering agent is water, particularly the action of waves. The continual pounding of rocks by wave action can wear away cliffs. Where the rocks are weak, they wear away more quickly, and arches may form and eventually separate blocks of rock, which we call sea stacks. A third weathering agent is wind. Wind erosion is more noticeable in exposed places. Here, wind erosion has formed a series of fins in Devil's Garden of Arches National Park in Utah. Sandstone is often eroded by wind and can result in interesting shapes. Here, there are sandstone arches in Utah's Arches National Park, formed by differential weathering and erosion and jointing of the entrada sandstone. When rock is eroded, the particles are then carried to new sites. A common carrying agent is water. The faster the current, the larger the particles that are carried by the water. Here the Colorado River near Blacktail Canyon, a tributary of Arizona's Grand Canyon, has been eroding and carrying rock particles away over many years. A second carrying agent is the wind. Sand dunes are rarely stable in the desert. The sand is always on the move. A close look at a delta of a river shows the deposition of materials that have been carried away by water from other regions. Material may be carried many hundreds of miles by some rivers. The areas where deposition occurs will eventually become sites where new rock is formed. Once material is deposited and more layers are added, it will undergo compaction due to the weight of material above. This picture shows the result of compaction on a tree trunk that has been petrified. It dates back to the Triassic period. Besides compaction, rock formation can also be a result of cementation, where particles are bound together. Compaction and cementation are two processes of lithification, which is rock formation. The Mississippi River Delta is a large area of deposition. Any breaks in the banks help spread deposits over a wide region. The slower the movement of the water, the smaller the particles that will settle out. Areas where there is very little movement, such as mangrove swamps in Florida, are areas where the finest particles will settle out. If the water becomes stagnant, then decomposition of vegetable material is slow, resulting in deposits that contain large amounts of organic matter. Tidal areas can be areas of deposition, but if there is high energy, then these areas can be areas of erosion. These tidal flats in Alaska are areas of deposition. Sand dunes in a desert are areas of deposition from rocks being eroded elsewhere. Ripples in the sand give an indication of the direction of any prevailing wind, just as ripples in water also give an indication of wind direction. Occasionally, deposition is such that the remains of living organisms become trapped and form fossils. These ammonites date from the Jurassic era. Some deposits are of great economic importance to man. Here, decomposition of plants to form coal has led to vast areas being mined to recover the coal as a source of energy. Oil is another deposit that is of importance to man, which has formed from decay of living organisms. Sedimentary rocks can be identified using a number of visual features. One of these is grain size. This example shows a conglomerate from the Cretaceous Kootenai Formation in southwestern Montana. Wow, that is a mouthful. The large particles are also rounded, suggesting these small pebbles were once subjected to weathering. Breccia also has large grains, but notice that here the particles are more angular in appearance, and this suggests these may not have been carried far before being deposited and covered with finer material. Large angular particles are found in samples of Arcos. Whilst sandstones are considered to be deposits where grain size exceeds 1/16 of a millimeter, silts are of much finer material. Even finer particles are laid down as shale. Here there are layers of shale between layers of limestone. The size of particles that are deposited is an indication of the environment they were deposited in. Rivers in deep valleys often have strong currents and carry small particles easy. Only the larger particles are deposited. This photograph shows the confluence of the Little Colorado River with the Colorado River in Arizona's Grand Canyon National Park. The color of the water indicates a large amount of material is being carried. Salt marshes, such as this one near Savannah, Georgia, are low-energy environments in areas where the silts and clays will settle. Mineral composition is also used to identify sedimentary rocks. Calcite consists of calcium carbonate. When hydrochloric acid is added to the rock, it appears to bubble as the calcium carbonate is broken down by chemical reaction and carbon dioxide is released. Gypsum is calcium sulfate, and here it was deposited on a lake bed in Pleistocene times. The lake bed has now been exposed and the weathered gypsum is being piled into dunes in New Mexico's White Sands National Monument. Former lakes and seas that have dried up often leave deposits. Salt water will leave large deposits of halite or rock salt. Chert is a crystalline form of quartz with the same general properties, but with a different mineralogic structure. Chert is often formed by biochemical processes. Types of algae called diatoms extract silica from water, both freshwater and marine, and use it to form an exoskeleton. When the algae die, these skeletons accumulate into a siliceous ooze layer, which when lithified forms a chert layer or a chert nodule. A nodule is a lump. Flint is often regarded as a form of chert. Flint were used to make tools by man, and early inhabitants often quarried for flint. Sedimentary rock is being formed all the time. Here, travertine is being deposited by the water from Pallet Spring in the Mammoth Hot Springs area of Wyoming's Yellowstone National Park. Here, tufa, a chemical sedimentary rock composed of calcium carbonate, is formed by evaporation as a thick, spongy layer around the mouth of a calcareous spring or seep. It can also form along a stream carrying calcium carbonate in solution or be precipitated by algae or bacteria. This is an example of limestone. Stalactite and stalagmite joining together to form cave column at Onondaga Cave, Missouri. These are formed originally from limestone rocks above. This photograph shows crystals of dolomite. A mixture of calcium and magnesium carbonates. How then do we set about identifying the rock samples from the kit? Here's a preview of the samples. In the first example, take a close look at grain size. Use a magnifying lens to help you decide. Feel the surface of the rock. Is it smooth or is it like sandpaper? How about this one? Is this smooth or like sandpaper? Again, use the magnifying glass to see if you can see individual grains. Do the same thing for the third rock sample. In this example, the clue is in the size and shape of the material that has been deposited. This example shows a very smooth surface. It is also quite hard. Finally, look at the material embedded in this sample. If you are able, add a drop of acid to the rock surface. This ends our coffee cup lecture for sedimentary rocks. Thank you for watching and for listening.